That's hot. Isn't that what Paris Hilton used to say? That's hot. But like literally. The end of the lighter, y'all. It's Palo Santo clearing out space and energy here. I got some meditation music on in the background, guys, to help us focus in, okay? Please do, if you're in the chat, connect with the energy and give the video a like, okay? It helps tune into what you need to know, all right? So, go ahead and get started here. Yeah, let's. Sure thing. All right. Now, give us a hand, shall we? Right? It is a nighttime, so I like to use my Spirit Halloween cards every now and then. See what is up for the collective today, this evening, whenever you're seeing this message. I'm getting a message right now, but I'm going to see what comes out in the spread to see if it confirms what I just received. So, you may want to practice your breathing. Okay. Again, if you're in the chat, please do be respectful. And we will return L negative energy back to the sender and open ourselves to receive the positive abundance that flows into our path. As abundant as the ocean, as abundant as the sea, as the abundant as air and space and time. Five of Swords, Angel. Are you protecting yourself, collective, in this situation that you're in currently? Who has your back? Are you leaning on your angels, your spirit guides, your ancestors? Are you receiving messages that are making things more clear to you about your path and who you need to be dealing with? They're telling me not to get too long in the tooth. So I'll lay that one down, okay? What is next, please? The Eight of Swords, Pegasus. Wow. So, collective, somebody really wanted you to believe a fantasy, okay? Telling you that they could, like, do no wrong and, like, you know, like they're just the miracle cure, right? Yours for only $29.95. It's just, it didn't quite work out that way. Might have looked good, might have smelled good, right? But, you know, if that was truly the case, why is this angel sitting here kind of looking bummed out? You know, it's like you this is spirit here telling you too that you are meant to soar. You might be in a period of reflection now, but you are meant to soar, okay? So don't let anybody take your wings away from you. Okay? Those were given to you, right? Yeah. Now, use your own discernment how you use those wings, obviously. Those wings can come in different forms. as it does here on Pegasus. Okay. But maybe part of this was kind of real. Like maybe you did see the rainbow. Maybe you did see the potential, right, for a new type of space, right? So you allowed yourself to go with it. But then it was like, oh, once you tried to take flight, it was like, oh, you didn't have your ticket, there was no luggage, there was, you know what I mean? It was like everything that could go wrong did. I'm not saying this is with everybody, this is just with a certain kind of energy that you have dealt with, collective. It is a, I'll say, former energy showing up in the current space. So there may be, I'm not saying you're still dealing with this person, but there may be something that you still need to learn from the situation, okay, or apply it in whatever new situation that you are going to transition into, okay? The tower. Wow. I don't know if maybe once I've pulled this on this deck. And if you guys follow my channel, you know I actually use this deck quite frequently. Um, so somebody thought perhaps that getting you confused and like tied up was going to kind of maybe scare you away from achieving certain things. But really, what happened instead is your tenacity is like kind of looming or showing through, where it's almost like you're here defending what you've built versus things that are just falling down, maybe around you or that you've seen. Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Ghostbusters when they have the figures on top of the building, okay? And then like the demons come out of them. It's like I'm getting that kind of. It's like that was their building and they were going to defend it, right? Like, so right or wrong, like there's two sides to that, right? Because if you've seen the movie, it doesn't necessarily end well for those demons, right? So, but on, yeah, yeah. I feel like here, collective too, it's kind of like the spirit world allowing you to tap into like, you know, sure, you don't want to cuss people out, but it's okay to go through that thought process. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you aware that you don't want to be taken advantage of. Okay. So, like, a little tapping into your dark side is not going to, like, you know, now, if, all of a sudden you find yourself flying out every sailor swear word, every other thing you say, maybe you've picked up a bad habit there, right? Like, but even then, it's like, is that like defining you, you know, forever in a moment, right? And maybe for some reason that was justified as well, is kind of what I'm getting here with your energy on this tower. Um, and it's almost like people are wanting you to move, but you're like, I'm fine over here. So it's almost like you're kind of telling people, like, hey, bro, like maybe you got the wrong tower. You know what I mean? I think it's the one over there with all the smoke pouring out of it that you want, like not this one. It's something like that. And they wanted you to think that yours was like in the path of destruction, you know? Like yeah. All right. What is that saying? It's one of the Bible verses. I am something through Christ which strengthens me. What is the first part of that? Why can't I remember that? I wasn't raised to like quote verses to people, so did I have to read that stuff? Sure, but let's continue on now, because that's just in one part of the world. That does not represent all religions. And on this channel, I mean, this is that's why they call it spirituality, right? Because we recognize I would almost say the faceless nature of the grace of God, right? In various forms. So I'm just going to leave it at that for this channel, okay? And, obviously, if you don't agree with certain things that I say on here about certain religions or whatever, you don't have to participate. So, there's other readers who don't mention religion at all. There's ones who do focus on it, certain places. So, pick your poison. My thought is, if there was only one answer, then why are there so many different religions? But they're all kind of saying a lot of the same thing as the golden rule, right? Like, that has not really changed with a lot of teachings. Okay. So, and when people talk about karma, and it's like, well, if you're gonna create things, obstacles, then that's your behavior. Maybe you might expect some consequences, right? And it doesn't really have to do with anybody else around you. It's about your own behavior. And I think anybody on a spiritual journey or a good look at themselves in a religious setting, I think a lot of people are able to do that and introspect, okay, even in the religious community. So I'm not here to like bag on people that are religious, because I know there are people that take their religion and periods of self-reflection very seriously. Anyway, again, so that's part of the spiel here. But moving on. In the heart chakra, please. The 9 of Pentacles, Frankenstein. How interesting. Are you guys some kind of freak of nature that you're patchwork together, but yet you still work like Frankenstein? But 9 of Pentacles, I mean, that's a very strong position. That's a very strong card. And it could have been one of those things where it's like, oh, well, I want the collective's brain, and I want the collective's hands, and I want the collective's body, and I want the collective's speed, and I want so it was like people tearing at different pieces of you, right? So that it's like you felt kind of like a Frankenstein in a bit, like nothing wholly belonged to you until that moment where you kind of started to awaken, right? And then that was like, oh, the lightning strikes, and it's like ding ding ding, yeah, they're after me, Lucky Charms. Right? What was the Frankenberries cereal, right? I had I had Captain Crunch. I don't know. I'm sure I had one of the Monster Berry cereals at one point in time. I don't recall which one. Anyway. So it's funny, there's all these concoctions here, and it's like, yeah. Yeah, he looks pretty determined there. His hands are huge. Looks like he might be missing a finger here. Let's see. 1, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, it's just the positioning here. What is next? Yes, this is a collective reading. So please only do take the messages that you feel are resonating with you in your energy. And if it's not happening to you, it could be happening to somebody around you. You could be considered like an empathic person or a highly sensitive person. So if you're hearing this story and you're like, oh, that kind of sounds like my friend, or that sounds like my brother, or that sound, you know what I mean? 6 of Cups, good old Jenny Green teeth in this deck. God. So I did a little research on Jenny Green Tea, and she is like this river nymph type, pond nymph or something. And she's supposed to, the folklore is that she will drag the young and the elderly underwater and get them all tangled up, and so that they are not able to escape the waters. So it's like, um, if you are wanting to reunite with somebody, collective, hopefully they're not trying to drag you down underwater so that you can't breathe, okay? So you might want to be wary of this person. This person may want to have a conversation with you, but do not feel manipulated by them. I feel like this is somebody who could throw a lot of things at you to make you feel like you have to untangle their mess, okay? But really, she's almost like a succubus, but it's like she's preying on the weaknesses, okay? So yeah. It's, yeah, her teeth look pretty gross here. But you know, she's using her body like, hey baby, check me out. Oh my goodness. All right, moving on to the the third eye here, folks. Okay, so and we're doing a chakra style reading today for the collective, what we need to know. And again, if you do like the video or in the chat, it helps tap into the energy, okay, of the collective. Eight of Cups, Pirate. You, collective, may have called Pirate on that situation because you're like, look, I may look like a scallywag, but I am not one to be drugged down to the bottom of the ocean. You guys remember which Pirates of the Caribbean it was, where they were all underwater, right? And then it's like they got up, and then, it's like, does Jack Sparrow really belong at the bottom of the ocean? I think not. Dun 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 dun. So somebody called Pirate and hightailed it out of there. Okay? And when I say jump ship, like, you could have, like, literally, like, moved to a different country. For some of you. I mean, this could be like somebody putting in for a work transfer or something, like a different work, especially if this is somebody that you would see or was in like some kind of close proximity to. Um, you know, Things like that happen. That's why sometimes people have, you know, set personal boundaries for themselves in those situations, because it can get complicated, right? It's like, and if things don't go well, right? Is that the person you want to keep on bumping heads with for, how many hours of a day? Anyway, getting into your crown, and yeah, and I feel like, collective, you're kind of like happy singing your little pirate tune and stopping off at this island and that, and hanging out with your other little pirate friends and doing kind of your little pirate things. And you're like, yeah, and I am playing my pirate tune, and I got my jacket all cleaned up here. It was looking kind of shabby before because I wasn't paying as much attention to myself, because Jenny Green Teeth had to get her, you know like, dude, it was kind of that, like, have you ever seen when they pull the drowning victims out of like the river or something? And it's like they'll pull out like the sea kelp or something. It's like on Baywatch, don't they show that on Baywatch? And they're like puking up the sea kelp. Yeah, yeah, okay, okay, all right. The crown, please. And yes, I do have certain settings in the chat, you guys. So if there are some nasty messages, it's gonna get held automatically. So don't even think that I have to sit here and babysit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, which I do. I have removed people before or blocked people from the chat. Oh my God, you guys. Look at that. They want to come back in so bad. And, yeah, look, it's just not happening. No. You've awoken. You've already transformed and started your spiritual journey, right? And the path you've chosen is the path towards living your purpose, right? People that want to get in your way are people possibly that have already chosen a path that leads to this, okay? And there's always going to be those kind of people that think that they can interject things, but that doesn't mean that they actually have power, just like the devil himself doesn't actually have power. I mean, the devil only has the power that you give them, right? But look at what's happened even in this Five of Swords situation. It's like, something bigger than the devil, right? Because the devil's the one sticking the swords in, right? But it's what's granting you these wings? What's granting you this ascension? What's granting you this ability to transform, right? Because this isn't the picture of somebody laying there dead and defeated. Because that's what they want, right? But in reality, what you've become is a little bit of yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, right? Well, of course they're not going to like that. And then they're going to say all sorts of things. Oh, well, the collective's doing this and the collective's doing that, right? Because they want the attention. It's look at all this heaviness that they're carrying here, right? And they want you to come and help them, right? And it's like, let me think about it. No, that's a no. No, no, no. I can sell you a whole bunch of other things, right? So some of these people may be facing a tower. And like I said, they might have the wrong address. And that is literally going to shock some people. You know, but right? So, Scorpio for some of you as well. All right. Don't be concerned if you hear like some messages around this. So again, like this might not be happening like directly to you. This could be somebody around you. It's just that type of thing when people think that they're in charge and they can just boss everybody around. You know what I'm saying? It's like that stuff eventually has consequences, right? So, we all learn in different ways. My pup over here, she's like, are you done yet? I'm gonna go ahead and do some Moonology messages for y'all. So I hope everybody that is in the chat is doing well tonight, or has been through the chat is doing well tonight. Even the ones that had to exit, right? Because sometimes it's just not your message, and if it's not, that's okay. Don't sweat it. Like I said, it could be happening to somebody around you as well, especially if you are a highly sensitive person or an empathic person, okay? That doesn't mean you have to fix everybody's problems, but you have to understand that, maybe you are sensitive to energy, and what do you need to do to address that, okay? So at the beginning of the video, you saw I was burning some sage and some Palo Santo, just to kind of clear out some of yeah, to clear and allow us to receive, okay? So don't let pride get in your way. So yeah, little rituals like that may help you, and you could be like, well, I don't need to do that, or I just, you know what I mean? Well, you know what? Maybe you should just try it and see what happens. Like, what is the worst that's gonna happen, right? But it's not for everybody. But the collective isn't for everybody. That's why the collective isn't doing everybody things. That's why the devil is, likes to rear their ugly head like, hey, excuse me, where do you think you're going? Everybody over here is doing this. I need you to participate in what I want, in what I want. Not knowing that you are not listening to that plan. Are you? No. That's what I'm saying. It's like they got the wrong freaking tower, okay? So, but, you know, like, especially collective, when involved into romantic partnerships, we really want to believe things, right? That's part of our vulnerable space, right? Especially when you're intimate with somebody, right? But when you start using your logic, right, it's like, well, how much of this is true? How much of this is actually going to benefit me at all in the situation, right? Or is somebody else benefiting from this? Okay. And they could have been wanting to paint a picture of you, okay, as the one, holding them down, so to speak. Because usually the Eight of Swords, you see somebody all tied up, right? When somebody's like, oh yeah, I got so and so, they're my rock, they really hold me down, blah, blah. But they just wanted this illusion, okay? They wanted a dream, okay? They didn't really want a real person here, right? You're like, sorry, I didn't wake up with rainbows shooting out of my butt today, okay? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe collective, you usually wake up in a good mood, but, like maybe you need your coffee first. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever, okay? I don't know. Whatever your routine is, okay? So yeah, this don't let pride get in your way, like, like don't be afraid to state your needs. Like you're human as well. Okay. And that's what I'm saying is like, don't fall into this trap of this illusion that doesn't even exist. Okay. It doesn't exist. So don't get bent out of shape about it. And especially collective, if this concerns anything to do with your like physical attributes, like maybe you have thinning hair. Like, is there really something is there anything you can really do about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is sometimes, Like, they don't appreciate, the nice rainbow that you brought to them today. Like, okay. Yeah. You know what I would normally say? Like, get effed, if you can't like appreciate nothing. Okay, and that's kind of this again. Then it's just like, when nothing you do ever, it's just so exhausting. So you got to know when it's time to put some of that down. Okay. Remember the things that you have going for you already and why they're after your Lucky Charms, right? Okay. So a win-win outcome is forecast full moon in Libra. Um, let's let's see. We are in Leo season, and then I think we'll have Virgo next and Libra. But some equality here is something that you may be looking for, right? You would think normally with the Six of Cups, right? That's something that you could do. Um, right now, collective, though, I feel like you're focusing on, your Nine of Pentacles here. And when you do that, other things are in balance in your life. Okay? So it's almost like you have just the right amount of magic potion to make Frankenstein go. Okay? But it's like Frankenstein isn't going all the time, right? You know what I mean? Like, needs to relax sometimes too, right? Recharge those batteries, right? Make sure his neck is sewn together properly. Okay? Yeah. Right? So that could be part of why something is DOA as well. You might be like, look, I'm not looking to resurrect anything out of this. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm looking to juice up to do what, the monster has to do here. But aside from that, you're like, I'm not doing it, right? Um, yeah. So this don't let pride get in your way. A part of that too could be like, they say love makes the world go round, and people need people and stuff, but don't be afraid to be by yourself either, right? And this pride thing could be like a FOMO thing, right? Like, oh, well, if I'm not there, then how's that gonna look, and blah blah. That bullshit. Yeah, like as if you don't deserve a vacation. The answers you need are coming. Okay. The Eight of Cups here. Yeah, I feel like you've been keeping yourself out of this mix with this Eight of Cups. And the way that you're leaning into these lessons, I think that is part of why it's like you're starting to get these answers, okay? Like if you guys watch content, like Dolores Cannon, she talks about how we choose, kind of the things in our life. And for some of you, that might be a way to look at it. And, that even includes dark paths that we have to go through. But then, um, we are also able to, say not move forward in a bitter way, but in a hopeful way here, and show everybody our wings, um, you know, that somebody thought they could tarnish, right? They wanted it to look fake and perfect and all this stuff, but mostly fake. Yeah. They're definitely selling a fantasy, and it's like now they might even want to be coming through some way to communicate to you and being like, what, you don't believe me? And you're like, no, sure don't. Same poop, different day. Hello. Come on now. Please. Please. You, you wonder why some of these people, they go for the younger ones, okay? Because, yeah, all right. They think they haven't heard it before. All right. Yeah. Prosperity lies ahead, New Moon in Taurus, okay? So we've had our full moon for this month of July, the buck moon, and you know, you might have been kind of jolted by some of the things that you've seen, but also recognize that your pattern here is keeping you alive just fine. Even if people want to like call you Freaky Frankenstein, right? But you know, remember that guy in the Munsters? Like, how many seasons did he have, right? Herman. He kind of looked like Frankenstein. He was a Frankenstein type dude, right? Um, yeah, what do you need to release? Okay. How many rejections did that guy get before he got that role? Okay. What are we gonna do here? You have no boundaries. What did I say about that? Or I said something about boundaries earlier, okay? So, whoever this devil, excuse me, whoever this devil is that's coming in, you might have to set boundaries with them, okay? And be like, look, I know you used to live here, but you don't anymore, so you can't just like pop by anymore. You know what I mean? Like just stuff like whatever it is, okay? Um, because they think they can run you. They think they can run the situation, and you're like, actually no, that's not how it goes. Okay. What else do we have here, please? I'm looking for a teammate. Yes, that is what this person may say, but remember, Jenny Green Teeth, because there might be all sorts of little details that this person wants that you may or may not be interested in providing. And if for some reason you're not, that's when this person may go from being a mate to a nightmare. Okay, I'm just saying. So there's a reason why this Eight of Cups was here. All right. Um, yes, could this be a new person that you're manifesting? That could be something that you are, working on for the next new moon. But right now, I'm reading that as part of this. Okay. And some of you could be like, look, there was a reason, you know what I mean? Like, people break up because it was broken. Like, don't try and fix what don't want to, what wants to stay broke, okay? So, you know, take that for what it is, if that's your story or not. You can do better than me. So, yeah, for some of you, this is maybe what you need to release is your expectations of this person, especially if they're just coming up in this energy, right? Mr. Bossy Pants, right? Or Miss Bossy Pants, like, where are you? Why haven't you texted me? Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Okay. Like, the whole jealous, possessive stuff, right? Which some people, they think like, oh, that's cool, right? And they think of that as uniting, but then it becomes like a clingy, like suffocating, smothering. Pretty soon you can't breathe, like you are underwater in a tangled web of what old Jenny Green Teeth picked up in the swamp. Okay? And for some of you, what they picked up in the swamp is other swamp like things. also trying to do the same thing. Okay, so think about that when somebody wants to reunite with you, because in the meantime, what have they been up to, right? You want somebody on the forward path, right? So it's like, is this person truly going to be in alignment with you? And I feel like that's why a lot of you have joined in on this pirate energy and have really been enjoying yourself, because you realize that yes, you can do better. And it's like you can do battle by yourself, including be the pirate of your own ship. One more, please. And it looks like we're getting kind of, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stick on this energy here. Usually I do like 30-minute readings, guys, so this is a little longer, but I took some time at the beginning to sage. I can say reckless things. I'm sorry. So, yeah. That might be why, collective, that for some of you, you moved on from this person because they said or did things that was designed to make you feel bad about yourself and make you feel like you were less than perfect in some way. Okay. And they kept comparing you to this, fake image, right? And you're like, and it like kind of bummed you out for a second, right? Until your creator reminded you that you have the opportunity, right? Like everybody has the opportunity, whether or not they take it is another story. Okay, so a lot of people, and then a lot of people get jealous because it's like they say, well, oh, so and so has this gift or so and so has this and blah 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 blah. Well, some people take advantage of their opportunities, and it's like that. um, Castles made of sand, right? And I feel like all of us have had moments like that, okay? All right. I am going to do a couple light worker cards, you guys. Okay. So these are the light worker cards. Dance with life. Do something to change your energy. Yeah. So, versus that smothering energy, you can see how open and free this is, right? So, what do you need to do to get yourself in the type of environment where you can like freely feel most yourself, express yourself, right? Maybe that even means like going to like go sign up for some, kind of dance class or yoga class or something, and like, or exercise, class, and then learn new movements. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't really think of moving my body that way, right? And then maybe you end up making that part of your routine and it really opens you up somehow. Like, so many little things can be a catalyst if we just take, some of the smallest steps, right? Yeah. Okay, that's an interesting card. Let's keep going. Sapphire might be important to somebody. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. Okay. So just like this tower here, like usually the instinct is, oh, it's a tower, you gotta move, you gotta, what I mean? It's like, well, a tower for who exactly? right? You're not afraid to stand up and question and say no. Like, you know, let me see the paperwork first, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you makes you think you have the right? Okay. Some people think they have the spiritual right here. Um, but as you can see, lightning is not controlled by man, is it? No. And I mean, this is not General Hospital when we have the weather machine. Okay, so, all right, yeah. You're welcome out there. You're welcome. Okay. Um, this is also ancient Egypt. So you know that if it's something worth it, it's okay to, you know what I mean? Like, I used to have this shopping rule where, like, if I saw something in a department store, I wouldn't buy it that day, but like if I really liked it, you know, and I was still thinking about the next day, maybe I would go back and buy it. You know, sometimes you can't do that these days because it'll be gone and they don't carry like as many, you know, sizes as they used to. Anyway, soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. Yeah. Um, you're definitely going to have, say, the healers in the realms type thing. Don't be afraid to, you know, say, hey, you know, I could use a little help with this. So, you know, please show me what I need to know, right? Um, yeah. And, you know, and maybe some of these things are, you know, reflections of how you have been in the past as well, right? Um, that doesn't mean you have to continue, right? And I think that's kind of why this devil is showing up here because it's always like when you reach, you know, new levels, new devils, okay? There's a book out there. It's called the 10X Rules. Many of you maybe have heard of this guy. He's on YouTube. His name's Grant Cardone. And he says, like, if you don't have increasing problems, like, then your business really probably isn't growing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, do you want the same old problems or do you want new challenges, right? Like, what does that mean? Okay. So, you know, take that into consideration. And you know, he might come, you know, not really agree with that summation, but that's one piece that I got out of it. All right. Let's see here. But, you know, does that mean you can do it all alone? No, absolutely not. Maybe these people haven't come in yet, and that's why, you know, certain opportunities may have not been right for, you know, how your boundaries are set up. Okay. Um, you know, and that's something that the devil wants to block you from seeing as well. They want you to think nobody is coming. They want you to think you're just going to be this lonely pirate out here sailing alone till the end of your days and nobody's going to come and help you. And then your skin's just going to rot off your face. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the intrusive thoughts, the all that stuff. And you are actually allowed to say no to that. Okay? Again, for my empaths, highly sensitive people, you can say, no, I'm not really feeling that today. Okay? You know, that's where you can say, you know, I'm only allowing the energy that is meant for me today. Okay? That can be a boundary that you set up, you know, as somebody who is perhaps sensitive to energies around you. And maybe you are somebody that's in a big family, so there's a lot of people around, okay? Or maybe your work environment, like you are, you know, customer facing, or something of that nature, or you have a large team that you work with, okay? So, in those terms, guys, remember that not all, the messages in tarot and these readings are necessarily, romance type messages, but you could consider them love messages in the fact that this is supposed to be for your highest good. And that comes from treating yourself in a loving nature, right? So that you are able to, in turn, right, continue to, yes, be the angel that you have always been here, okay? Trust. What is that feeling trying to tell you? Okay. So, there's, sometimes people are like, I don't know why I didn't leave the house on time. I just didn't feel like it was right. And then, 5 minutes later, you hear the sirens down the road, right? Don't be afraid to trust yourself, okay? Again, that's something that this devil doesn't want you to do. And part of the reason they don't want you to do that is because you've succeeded in separating yourself and maintaining your goals at the same time. And for some of you that goal is kind of to be a pirate. You know what I mean? I'm not here to judge. But others, like, if you've seen Seinfeld, like he says, I don't want to be a pirate. Yeah, get off the treadmill. Whatever has you feeling this Frankenstein way, in terms of maybe being tired, all right? I think that's something that you can, like, just like Frankenstein, it's like, yes, he has feeling, yes, he has emotion, but is he gonna, like, overthink some of this stuff? No. And that's what they wanted you to do. So, you know what I mean? You can almost treat it like, I mean, like I'm saying, I'm not saying that, the monster doesn't have thoughts and feelings, but, you don't have to treat everything with such depth, because honestly, the way that people view you, it's not really their reflection, okay? And it's not necessarily a reflection of you either, all right? So, you know, there's that saying, people can only meet you where they are. And like, if they're feeling in this clingy type energy, that's how it's going to come off. You know, I mean, in talking about romantic, I've seen guys and girls acting like this way, in public, sometimes under the influence of, things. But, yeah, it comes off just very like, ugh, right? Like, good. Yeah. So, guys, I think I'm going to leave it here. Please do like the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you want to be notified of lives or video uploads to your phone through push notification or to your email, hit that bell and you will be notified by the YouTube. So until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.